Welcome guys to the Meet Damien channel. I am Damien. Today's live stream, we talk about Bitcoin, some things that I don't like seeing on the charts here with Bitcoin, and then we'll talk about some of these other cryptocurrencies. We'll talk about CoAI, one of the cryptocurrencies that's actually doing pretty well, but could it possibly be a crowded trade? And are we going to start seeing some tears soon here for the bulls and CoAI? We're about to figure that all out here by looking at the charts here. And then, of course, I'll be taking a look at your requests for any cryptocurrencies you want to take a look at, or any stocks. If you guys are sick and tired of cryptocurrencies and you want to talk about stocks instead, we could talk about that as well. See what's good out there in stock market world. But yeah, let's get started here. I'm on the 1 hour chart right now for Bitcoin, trading at $111,280. And I'm just curious, there should be some people in the live stream here that should already know what chart pattern I'm looking at right here. But does anybody know what this looks like for those who study chart patterns here, and what this could end up doing to our beloved asset here, Bitcoin? Does anybody here want to comment and say what they think that chart pattern right there is? Because this is what's worrying me about Bitcoin. This is what's getting me thinking that Bitcoin could do some horrible things to us, unfortunately. But I'm gonna wait until I see someone in the chat say something here about what that chart pattern looks like, because I highlighted here, you know, I put a little white markers here showing you what that chart pattern is. I'm just waiting for someone to say here on TikTok or YouTube what they think that chart pattern is, and then we'll go ahead and actually try to figure out what the measure move might be for that. And I see I have Joe from Trade Intuitions in the live chat saying that is a head and shoulders trade pattern, but he says he doesn't trade patterns, and that's understandable. Some people trade them, some people don't. I think, you know, some people look at these patterns and it's just easy for people to recognize, and then they can get an idea as like where the market might go. The patterns don't always play out. I mean, we could always get a fake out, but this is looking like a head and shoulder pattern to me as well. You got the left shoulder, the head, and the right shoulder, and this is showing up on the 1 hour time frame. Most of the time, these trade patterns, trading patterns, like a head and shoulder pattern, they do have more validity. They're more valid in a higher time frame. Like if this was showing up in the daily time frame, I'd be even more concerned. But even on the daily time frame, you know, this could possibly be a left shoulder here, then a head, and then we could be starting to form a right shoulder here on Bitcoin on the daily pattern, on the daily chart for Bitcoin here for a chart pattern. But now, you know, we're actually seeing this on the 1 hour time frame. But if this showed up on the daily chart, which it possibly could, Joe from Trade Intuition, I would be even more concerned if this was on a daily time frame and I was seeing that head and shoulder pattern form. But this is on the 1 hour time frame. I mean, you kind of could see it on the 4 hour time frame a little bit as well. And I think if this starts to play out, you know, the measure move, you measure from the top of the head to the neckline. This is where the neckline would be at the shoulders. Okay, let me just straighten that out a little bit. Yeah. And if this is going to be a head and shoulder pattern that plays out to the downside, and we just got to explore the possibilities here. If this is a head and shoulder pattern, and traders around the world start playing it like a head and shoulder pattern, then this measured move to the downside is showing that we could see Bitcoin come down to $105,000 Bitcoin, that blue number right there. And if I just zoom out here a little bit more, if I go into the daily time frame here, that $104,000-$105,000 area is an area that people were buying Bitcoin back here in June and May earlier this year. So maybe this is where we end up coming down as support for Bitcoin in the near future. Maybe later on this today, or this week, or later on this month. The people that bought Bitcoin here back in June and May, they're going to be holding the fort here, preventing us from going down below 100K, because the people that bought Bitcoin in May and June earlier this year, they're in profit right now still. And they're not going to click that sell button to to send Bitcoin to lower prices until we start losing like 102, 103, 104, 105K. Once we start losing that area, then I would expect more downside pressure. I would expect these people to be anxious to hit the sell button. And, you know, because right now they're in profit, but then at 105K, they're at break even. And then below, you know, 105K, going into like 102K, then they start to sweat bullets. And then we start losing, you know, a cascading formation here where Bitcoin just starts going below 100K. So I guess, you know, the title of my video is, you know, if Bitcoin does this one exact thing, it's game over for the crypto bull run. If Bitcoin plays out this head and shoulder pattern to the downside, you know, we're probably going to head to like 104, 105K, in my opinion here. And then if Bitcoin loses that 104, 105K area, then that's the game over for the crypto bull run. Because, I mean, how could you call that a crypto bull run if now we're making lower highs and lower lows? Because the last, you know, higher low that we had here was like 108K. So that would, you know, if we lose 108K, we're going to then see, I'm sorry, 107K if you want to count this wick here. But, you know, back here it was like 108K here in August. So if we start losing 108, 107K, we are now technically making lower lows on the daily time frame. And of course, in order to get down to those lower lows, you have to make lower highs. So you'll be in a downtrend. And you cannot even call it an uptrend anymore. And you can't call it a bull run if you're in a downtrend, right? That just doesn't make sense, at least not to me. Right? You could say it's a correction, but I think we've done enough correction already. If this is correction, then you would still think like we would make higher lows, which we still possibly could make higher lows here on the daily time frame for Bitcoin. But if you're going down to like 105K, you're not making higher lows anymore. You're making lower lows. So that is what I see on the Bitcoin chart here. I want to show you the liquidation heat map real quick. For those of you who follow along, we do look at the liquidation heat map. This is data coming from Binance. It's good to see that, to see where liquidity might be, where the stop losses might be for some of these Bitcoin traders out there. And right now, I'm just looking at the 12-hour because I just want to see what happened in the last 12 hours. We know in the last 24 hours, it's been brutal for a lot of cryptocurrency holders, unless they're in CoAI, which we'll talk about that later on in this live stream here. But, you know, right now, the liquidity has been eaten up to the downside for the most part. There's still some liquidity below us at 110K, which hasn't quite got hit yet. But then after that, there's not really that much liquidity to the downside. The longs have been getting eaten up over the past couple of days here. And most of the liquidity is still to the upside at 112K. Also 113K. And some more here at 113,500K. You got like, you know, millions of dollars above you up there. However, those shorts could still be in the money if we continue going down, and if people get nervous and we start breaking down below 110K, there's no reason why we have to go up there to take that liquidity. It's up there, but if people are selling their spot bags and getting out of Bitcoin for whatever reason, maybe they want to sell their Bitcoin and get into like gold, because gold has been climbing up, making new all-time highs. I saw that earlier today, $4,200 an ounce gold. Maybe they sell their Bitcoin and get into gold. Maybe they sell their Bitcoin to get into some technology stocks, some of the AI technology stocks that are out there. And maybe they just give up on Bitcoin going to new all-time highs, because we haven't seen, you know, Bitcoin go to new all-time highs. And when we do, we see it, you know, immediately drop down like a fake out. So maybe people are getting sick and tired of that and they click the sell button. But then there's also, we have, you know, our president, commander-in-chief threatening tariffs on China over rare earth minerals and soybean farms in here in America not being able to sell to China because China's not buying. If we keep getting more tariff talk and more threats about increasing tariffs on China, then yeah, people are going to sell their Bitcoin and get into something else here. You know, you could say maybe the dumb money, right, is selling, but with gold climbing to new all-time highs and Bitcoin, you know, dropping down, like, can you blame anybody for selling their Bitcoin to get into gold? I can't. I might even do the same myself. Not really. No, I'm not. I think gold's near all-time highs. If you missed out on the gold play, I'm not sure how much gold can go up further from where it is right now. Some people saying like 5K, but we are butting up our heads up against some bearish divergence on gold, and I can look at that later if you guys want to look at that. But anyways, going back to liquidity here, liquidity, there's not that much to the downside. There's like $40 million here to the downside on the 12-hour chart, but they can still come eat that up and then continue sending that down. And then all the shorts are going to do is just move their stop losses to lower levels here. So you'll still have liquidity to the upside, but the shorts will just continue moving their stop losses more into profit and break even as we continue dropping down in price here, if we do drop down in price. All right, so I kind of gave you guys like the bearish case here for Bitcoin. What could I do for the bullish case here to give you guys a little bit of hopium here? I'm going into the 1-hour chart now again for Bitcoin. Looking at some oscillators here that I like to look at. Okay, there is some hopium here on the on the market cipher B indicator here, where you have a green buy dot that came in at 1 o'clock in this afternoon, saying that was probably a good time to buy some Bitcoin. At that point, it came in next to these green horizontal bars, which shows that Bitcoin is oversold at this area, and it was oversold over here. And then of course, you know, we have these little emojis saying, yeah, these are bottoms here. And look at this. This is like a kind of like a double bottom. A double bottom here on the oscillator for the market cipher B indicator, which means that, you know, we could be seeing Bitcoin going up to higher prices here. And it kind of has gone up to higher prices over the past hour. I've noticed, I've been watching the price of Bitcoin. You see the momentum wave, the blue, is starting to curve back up. That's good to see in the short term here. And then also we see that money flow has decreased significantly, right? But this could possibly start to curve back up, especially if the momentum is going up to the upside here. So I like this double bottom action that I'm seeing here. It literally says bottom over here. And then just if I go back out to the chart, you can see like, yeah, you kind of do have a double bottom here on the price for the 1-hour chart for Bitcoin. So right now I am in a long on Solana, not Bitcoin, but I have a tight stop loss. It's very easy to strategize having a tight stop loss because you put it below the two bottoms here, because this kind of shows up on the Solana chart as well. I'll quickly show you Solana real quick here since I'm talking about it. Solana also has kind of like not really a double bottom, but it's actually forming a higher low. This could go a little bit further down, and then you kind of have a double bottom on Solana. But yeah, you can strategically put your stop loss really tight here, all right, and still benefit long in cryptocurrency at this point, because you know, maybe the lows have come in for the day and we go up and try to make a higher make a run for higher prices here. But I'm just not sure if we have the juice to actually go up and make higher highs here. That's the thing that I really want to see, is I want to see us make higher highs here, at least here on the Solana chart, and also same thing with Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies out there. Let me see. We got Joe saying some things here, and I see Steve is in the chat. Steve says hello to you, Steve. Trade intuition, what do you say? The zone you're looking for is a break at 110k to 109.6, then a bearish retest of that zone. You're still bearish, okay. All right, and then let's see. Your zone is from the 1-hour chart, okay. You posted your mess of a Bitcoin chart in your Discord, and Joe says join his Discord. Yeah, guys, you go ahead and join Joe's Discord. Let me go give a shout out to Joe here. All right, so it looks like you posted on my Discord. Here's my Discord, and Trade Intuition has posted up what he's looking at for Bitcoin, and he's identified the head and shoulder pattern as well. He says he's bearish. Let me just go over to Joe's Discord real quick here. You guys can join Joe's Discord. Joe, you can put the link to your Discord in there. If anybody wants to check out Trade Intuition's Discord here. But it looks like yeah, Trade Intuition has been talking about the head and shoulder pattern just like myself. So we all see it. We're all in this together. And yeah, this is the one thing that's worrying to me about Bitcoin and Solana here. Is well, Solana's not really making that head and shoulder pattern, but I'm pretty sure it will drop like a rock, just like Bitcoin, if Bitcoin decides to do it. But yeah, just going back into the Bitcoin chart, you got that head and shoulder pattern here. I did say I was going to try to create a bullish case here for you guys. The bullish case was that double bottom could possibly be forming. We could be range bound. This head and shoulder pattern could get invalidated. It doesn't have to play out the way we think it might play out. It might not just drop like a rock in the next, few hours here. We could see a little fake out to the upside, stay range bound, maybe make a higher low, then possibly a higher high, higher low, and then we see ourselves, try to reach up to like 117K here. Okay, so head and shoulder patterns, they're an idea. Doesn't mean that idea is going to be the right idea or the correct idea. Okay, but if Bitcoin starts climbing up, there is some resistance here. We still got the 0.236 level at $112,800 Bitcoin here. I believe if I turn on the moving averages here, you'll start to see that come into play here. You have the 50 moving average, right? That green line is at 112,900 right now. Yeah, let me get rid of this for now. We got rid of that drawing, but that green line at 112,900 is confluent with that 0.236 retracement. I'm expecting some resistance if Bitcoin climbs up a little bit further. Maybe it can go up another $1,000 here, maybe another $1,500, and then get rejected, like it has been getting rejected off of this 50 moving average on the 1 hour time frame this whole time here. Okay, so we could play the double bottom for our day trade here and take a long. And then if you're going to take that long, I would expect to take some profit at 112,900 or 112,800, somewhere in that area. I think if I go into the 15-minute time frame, it kind of shows the same thing here with the moving averages. You got the 200 moving average. This red line is at 112,700. So I think 112,700, 112,800, or 112,900 should be an area to take some profit if you're going to play this double bottom here on Bitcoin on the smaller time frames here. And then maybe 112,900 is where you re-enter a short, and you just put you enter a short at 112,900. That might happen later on tonight, and then you put your stop loss right above the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame. Because it looks like we've been below the 200 moving average on the 15-minute time frame, at least since Tuesday, like Tuesday morning. We haven't been above that 200-day moving average. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. The 15-minute time frame, 200 moving average, just put your stop loss above it. We haven't gone above it, so if we if we touch it again, get rejected, enter a short, put your stop loss above the 200 moving average. And I think you'll be fine if you want to play it like that as well. All right, let me check out the chat here for TikTok. See what you guys are having to say here. HDZZZ is asking me about Cardano, so I guess we'll put that as a request. We'll have to look at Cardano here. Appreciate that request. Don't forget to hit the like button. Especially if I'm giving you this free TA on your favorite altcoins and stocks here. Shayna wants to look at XRP, so I guess I have to look at XRP first because that came in before Cardano. And then, let me see. Is there anything else here? Looks like we just have XRP and Cardano for now. And Laura Clary says, it's not going to play out. It's too obvious. Yeah, I mean, it's just an idea. It doesn't mean that it's going to play out that way. But, it's something to be on the lookout for Head and Shoulders. And if you know how to do the measured move and everything, it gives you an idea like where you can take profit if you're going to short the head and shoulder pattern here. Yes, head and shoulder on a higher time frame, like a daily chart, would be more prevalent and more likely to play out than a smaller time frame. I guess you can call the 1 hour time frame a smaller time frame. Anything less than 1 hour is a smaller time frame. And then going into like the 4 hour time frame and higher is your higher time frames. So little debate whether a 4 hour time frame is a small time frame or a high time frame, but I consider it a high time frame in my experience. But yeah, the higher time frames, if it shows up in the higher time frames, more likely it's going to actually play out than get invalidated. Ponky says, no point looking at individual altcoins, pointless, back to the majors. There is an altcoin that people are looking into and getting themselves into, and that is CoAI. I'm going to put that down as a request for myself. Just to remind myself, I got to look at CoAI at some point here, because that is like the one cryptocurrency that's making money for some people. CoAI is up 75% today. Was up like another 50% the day before. So we're going to have to look at that one just because, you know, we got to figure out like what the hell is up with this coin that wants to do the opposite of what every other coin is doing right now. TM258, the link to my Discord, you can just message me at the end of the live stream and send me a message. Well, first of all, follow me on TikTok if you haven't already. Let's look at my TikTok real quick here. But, you know, make sure you follow me like these other two guys did right here. And then you can just message me on TikTok and I'll send you the link to the Discord, okay? The free Discord to join. And then my YouTube guys, the link should be in the description to the video and also in the description to my channel as well. I think I should probably put the link here in the description for TikTok as well. But anyways, let's get more into the TA here for you guys. So yeah, upside target for Bitcoin in the short term, I think 112,700 to 112,900 could be an area where you can look for shorts and take profit on any longs that you got on your Bitcoin right now. And then to the downside, you know, we could see, you know, Bitcoin drop down to that 105K area if this head and shoulder pattern is going to play out. Okay. All right. Moving on from Bitcoin, let's take a look at XRP. I'm actually currently shorting XRP right now. Don't get too mad at me. I also have XRP spot bags, so I want XRP to go up. But right now, I do have a couple of shorts on XRP just to make some money if we are going to drop down. You know, might as well make some money if we're gonna drop down again. But XRP currently trading at $2.41. It's down 3.7%. And XRP, if it does decide to drop down, my take profit is going to be basically right where we were trading at here on Saturday, where we saw XRP get down. I believe we saw it get down to like $2.32 here. My take profit is $2.35 on my short. Okay, I'm not too greedy here. You know, I think, you know, we could see another 5-6 cents below from where we are right now. But XRP doesn't really move too much. That's why I don't feel too bad shorting it, because if it does go up, it doesn't really go up that violently. So I can get out of the short in time to like not take too much of a loss on my short. But yeah, XRP has been trading at 230 and 232, somewhere in that area back here on Friday and Saturday. So you would expect that to be a support zone for the longs here. I think right now some people are trying to long XRP at this 241 level here, because this is a level that we were at back here on Tuesday. We came down to $2.40 here. This could end up possibly being another double bottom, right? Let me just look at the Market Cipher B real quick here. We were kind of bottoming out here on the Market Cipher B indicator here on Tuesday morning. It looks like we could be creating another potential double bottom here on the 15-minute time frame for XRP here, using the Market Cipher B indicator here. I want to see money flow start turning green. It looks like it got pretty bad here on the 15-minute time frame around 1 o'clock this afternoon, but it's curving back up, so that's good to see. You want to start seeing some green showing up on the money flow here. to get us out of the danger zone here for XRP. But yeah, right now I have my stop loss currently on my XRP short just above the candles here on the 15-minute time frame. XRP was as high as like 244, 245. I got my stop loss like at 245. You know, I'll get stopped out if XRP decides to climb up to higher prices here. Now, if XRP decides to climb up to higher prices, where could it go? I'm gonna have to zoom out here. I'll go into the 4-hour time frame. So yeah, XRP, if it does decide to climb up, I think we're going to see this $2.57 level all over again. That's a 0.382 retracement on the Fibonacci that I drew from a while ago here. That could be a target to look for to the upside here. Then, of course, we'll see if XRP can climb up back to 278. This is your 0.5 retracement. This was an area that got respected a few times here, like in September, earlier in September. Also, around here towards the end of September, we hung out near 270, 278. So I think that's another area that could be a target for your longs to the upside on XRP. I'm gonna get rid of that for now. But yeah, XRP has a lot of work to do to climb up and show that it can continue being bullish here. XRP hasn't really been bullish. Like, we've topped out here in July earlier this year. You know, we saw like $3.66 XRP, but then since then we've been making lower highs, and of course lower lows, and then this death dive that we've had on Friday just did not help us at all for XRP. So yeah, this is a little funky to me now with XRP. You're almost trading at the same prices that XRP was trading at back here in June. So I don't know. XRP, you got a lot of proving to do. That's one of the reasons why I got a short on it right now. But I would be pleasantly surprised to see XRP climb out of this mess that it got itself into, and actually take out my short, my stop loss on my short, and then climb up and get up to like at least the moving averages here on the 4-hour time frame. Can XRP get up to that 50 moving average at 278? First, we got to get to 258 first, then 278 comes after that. But we'll see. We shall see. We shall see on XRP. Now that we looked at XRP, let's go ahead and take a look at Cardano. See what we can do here with Cardano for some technical analysis. I'm going to get into the daily time frame here for Cardano. We see Cardano currently trading at 67 cents, down 3.78% today. And Cardano, you know, a lot of these altcoins look like they're ready to start the bear market any time now. Okay, Cardano had that crazy nosedive on Friday, along with all the other cryptocurrencies out there. I mean, was this the end of the bull market for crypto? Was that the end of the cycle? The end of the altcoin season? Was that Friday when Donald Trump said 100% tariffs, and then, you know, Binance took advantage of their customers and traded against them and sent the cryptocurrencies as low as they could possibly go? I don't know. But I'll tell you this though, my qualification for being in the bull market is that you got to be above the 200-day moving average. This red line here, that red line is at 74 cents. If Cardano can get back up to that 74 cent level, then I will flip from being bearish to bullish. But because you lost the 200-day moving average, I have to be bearish on Cardano. And then on top of that, I'm a little bit worried that we're gonna, you know, treat this as a rejection. Like, we back tested, and now we're possibly getting rejected. We didn't really touch the 200-day moving average, but we came close with it on Monday. We got up to like 73.5 cents here, when that 200-day moving average was at 74 cents. So pretty much a back test. It didn't actually hit it, but close enough. And you could consider this a rejection. If this is a rejection, then, you know, how much lower can Cardano go? I think if Cardano loses the lows that it did here on Saturday, where we saw Cardano as low as 61 cents, you know, we could see Cardano come down and retest this area back here in June, where we got some people who are still in profit because they bought Cardano as low as like 52 cents and 53 cents. So maybe Cardano needs to come down to 52, 53 cents. But if it does that, then I mean, this whole summer was for nothing here. You basically did a round trip. Whoever bought here in June, you basically did a round trip by holding on to Cardano and thinking that, you know, we're gonna get an altcoin season here. All right, very sad to say, very sad to say that and to hear it. But yeah, this could all be for nothing if Cardano loses the lows that I put here on Saturday. Don't lose 61 cents, because if you lose 61 cents, then you're coming down to like 52 cents. Okay. So I do not want to see that for cryptocurrency. I think you guys already been through a lot. The altcoin holders have been through a lot this year, not getting a lot. But if we are able to climb out of this this potential mess that we're in here with cryptocurrencies and altcoins, then I still think, you know, we'll probably see Cardano come up to that 618 at 89.90 cents here, that golden pocket here. And then we'll see if we can actually climb above $1.02 like we did here in August, and actually come up to that 1272 at $1.11. There's still a possibility that you could buy now here at Cardano, put your stop loss really tight at like 60 cents, and you might be able to benefit where Cardano gets up to like $1.11 and basically double your money, almost double your money from where it is right now. But we shall see. We shall see. So that's XRP Cardano. Let's go ahead and take a look at a cryptocurrency that's actually making money, making money for people this week, and that is CoAI, which is just acting so crazy right now. Up 78% today, and currently trading at $16.28 here. I have a phone call coming in. I'm not sure who's calling me right now. I forgot to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. But I think I'm gonna let this go to voicemail unless they leave. Yeah, if they leave me a voicemail, then I'll know who it is. Anyways, yeah, back to the analysis here on CoAI. We're currently up $7 here. This thing was trading at $8 or $9 yesterday, and now we're at 16 bucks. This thing's up like 78% today. This could be a crowded trade though. This could be how some people are trying to redeem themselves after all the bloody mess that we've had in cryptocurrency over the past few days here. I'm going to have to get rid of this uptrend here. It did a beautiful job of maintaining that uptrend. CoAI, it's a relatively new cryptocurrency. It looks like it started trading on Mexi Exchange on September 25th here. Don't have that much data, but I did pull a fib all the way down to like 13.5 cents, up to where it topped out here at $19.70. And we have some levels to look at on the Fibonacci for CoAI. Let me see if I can get into the 4-hour time frame here. Yeah, this looks a little bit better. But on the 4-hour time frame, if this thing is going to still remain bullish, then it's going to stay above $15.56. That's your 786 retracement. If you do that, then this thing will probably continue going up to higher prices, and you'll probably hit that 1272 for a new all-time high at $25 here. This thing could be a $25 cryptocurrency. It could happen tomorrow. Could happen tonight. Could happen later on this week. Who knows? But this thing has been maintaining that bullish momentum, and I wouldn't be surprised if $25 comes into play at some point here. Then there's a long-term target of 1618. Says that we could get up to like $31, almost $32 here on CoAI. So it might not be over yet as far as this AI cryptocurrency is going. We could, you know, continue to surprise everybody here and actually hit that $32 level. But if this thing is not going to be bullish, if it comes back to reality that it's just an altcoin, just like all the rest of them, then we could end up coming down to the 618 at $12.26. That is a normal retracement level that you would expect this thing to come back down to. I don't see any. Let's see. We have a candle wick here on the 4-hour time frame where this thing came up to like $11.98. So maybe we actually come down to like 12 bucks here retest this as support before this thing goes up to higher prices here. But yeah, I would expect 618 Fibonacci to at least get hit if we aren't going to maintain the 786 level here at 1556. I would expect that to come into play at some point here. But you don't really have that much else, you know, moving averages wise. Like the 21 EMA, that's white line, is sitting at $10.71. That would probably give you some support, and it could give you support right next to the confluent level of the 0.5 retracement at 995 here. I'm not sure if it's going to be that deep of retracement, but that's another level to look out for before we look at the other levels. And now let's go into the 1 hour chart, see what the 1 hour chart is showing. 1 hour chart is showing the 21 EMA has acted as support over the last few hours. That's good to see. I think if we lose the 21 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, then you could expect this thing to come down to that $12 level here. So be on the lookout for this. If we don't get another, you know, violent push up to higher prices from where we are right now, then this thing might meander on through, slice through the 21 EMA at some point, and then drop down to $12 at some point. So we'll see. We'll see that a lot of eyes are on this one. I think you got to continue remaining violently bullish here in order for this thing to maintain its uptrend. Let's see what the Market Cipher B has to say on the 1 hour time frame here. Market Cipher B is showing that you got some top signals coming in here, saying that this thing could be topping out. You also got the momentum. The momentum is coming down here. This blue area is coming down, curving down. And then you got the money flow is dropping down on the 1 hour time frame. If you see money flow going into red on Market Cipher B on the 1 hour time frame, I would start getting out of this cryptocurrency, taking your profit, and maybe consider entering a short. Let's see what this looks like on the 4 hour time frame. 4 hour time frame, you've already hit oversold conditions. You hit the oversold bars, these red horizontal bars, and then you also got a red dot here telling you that you should take profit. And it was telling you to do that this afternoon around 12 o'clock Eastern time. So we're going to be on the lookout. If you start seeing money flow, this green start to curve down again, that's how you know for sure that money is now leaving this asset. People are taking their profits, and there might be a potential short ready to be played here. Okay, at least on the 4 hour time frame. So we shall see. We shall see. I want to also take a look at what this thing looks like with the other indicators here. You are overbought here on the 4 hour time frame on the RSI at 79 earlier this morning. The RSI is now at 68, so you're just below overbought. 1 hour time frame, you were overbought on the RSI all throughout last night going into this morning. But now you're back to a 60 on the RSI. So we'll see if CoAI is going to actually make another run to the upside here, or could this actually be the top here, and then this ends up being like a lower high, and then we see this thing going on the lower prices. We need more data. We'll see how it all plays out. But I think, you know, there's a case to be made to try and do, I wouldn't say not an aggressive long, but you could try to long it right here, thinking that this is, you know, a higher low that is then going to send us to higher prices at some point. Then another case could also be made that this could be the, you know, a lower high being formed here, and you could put a short. You could put a short in right now and put your stop loss pretty tight. And then if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you know, your stop loss is tight, so you don't lose too much. This thing could still be running, getting ready to make another run to the upside here. So we shall see. We shall say. I know I kind of gave you like the long and short, like, oh, you can long it or you can short it, but I mean that's pretty much trading in a nutshell, right? If you're bullish on this, I mean, this was the time to get in, and then you're gonna see if this thing can get back up to 19, 20 bucks, and maybe go up to like 25 bucks. But if you're bearish on this thing, then I mean the time would have been to like hit it when it was at like 19 bucks, but If you're still bearish, like you could put a, especially on a green candle right now, you could short right now, put your stop loss really tight. At least put your stop loss at like 1970 where it topped out at. And if you're wrong, and you get stopped out on your short. Let me see. Ben Funny just followed me here. Thank you for following me on TikTok, Ben. Thank you. And so far it's quiet on the TikTok chat here. And my YouTube guys, you guys aren't putting any requests in. I think we're all just waiting for Bitcoin to drop. Let's see, is Bitcoin dropping still while KoAI is continuing to go to higher prices? Yeah, Bitcoin. I think last time we looked at Bitcoin was at 111,500. Let's see what it's done in the 5-minute time frame here. In the 5-minute time frame, Bitcoin was making higher highs or trying to make an attempt to make higher highs, but now you're getting that drop now here on Bitcoin. Bitcoin at $110,800. I think we're gonna come and try to revisit this $110,300 area, and probably, if I stay live for another hour, I think we might come down to this area. Let's see on the 15-minute time frame. The 50-minute time frame, I did say, like, if Bitcoin does continue climbing up to higher prices, don't expect it to get above this 200 moving average unless we really are that bullish. Because this 200 moving average on the 50-minute time frame has acted as resistance back here on Wednesday, earlier this morning, around 4:30 a.m. Eastern time. And you haven't really been able to get above it. Last time you were above it was the drop here on Monday night. Bitcoin was at 115K, but then we lost it, and we lost the 200 moving average. I think it's safe to say that this 200 moving average is going to act as resistance at 112,600, 112,700 if we are able to climb up that high. Why does this thing keep saying I'm losing my connection here on TikTok? Thank you, Nurka, for following me here on TikTok. Thank you. Appreciate that. Let's go ahead and take a look at crypto bubbles right now. See what might actually be doing pretty well out there, or not so well. Let's get a overall diagnostic on the market right now. We talked about KoAI, the only cryptocurrency that seems to be making money for people. There are some that do have some green bubbles. Is Plasma XPL is up 4%, Nexo up 2.1%, XAUT, which follows the price of gold, and that one's up 1.5%. Maybe we'll take a look at the price of gold after this. PaxG also follows the price of gold, and that's up. So if you're in gold, you're doing all right. Hex is up 3%, and then as far as like the cryptos that are doing the worst right now, you got PancakeSwap down 13.9%. MNT down 9.6%, Pith down 6.2%, Fetch AI down 8.4%, 2Z 00 down 9.2%, and most of these cryptos are down at least 4 or 5% for the most part. Oh, Tau was actually in a good day yesterday, and that one's down today, down 9.1%, kind of canceling out whatever it did yesterday. That's unfortunate. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the price of gold. We don't have to talk about crypto if it's going to make you guys all depressed and anxious. We'll look at something that is winning right now, and that's the price of gold. Currently trading at 42.07, up 1.5% today, up $65. Let's get into the daily time frame here. Look at this beast of a chart here. I bet you wish this was your Bitcoin and crypto right now. Okay. You got gold making new all-time highs at $4,200. I got as high as like $42.18 earlier today, and I have done some TA on this. When we saw gold make the move from 2,500 up to 3,500 bucks, I did a Fibonacci, and we've already hit the 1618 on gold at $44,099. Could we hit the 2618 at $5,067 here for gold? I don't know. If I was to extend this, if we're gonna make a trend line here and just trying to figure out when could gold hit $5,000 if it continues on this uptrend, looks like we'll hit $5,000 by the middle of January. For those who are trying to play the gold play right now, January of 2026 could be when we hit $5,000 on gold. Just measuring this trend line here. If we were to just continue doing what we're doing right now, just don't drop down, just continue going up at the bare minimum, middle of January for $5,000 gold. But let's take a look at the oscillators here real quick. You can see that on the RSI, gold is overbought on the daily time frame. This is where, this rally could end in tears if we stay overbought and then eventually do a drop. Yeah, gold being overbought like this. You haven't really been overbought like this since like February earlier this year and in March. But even then, like around February and March earlier this year, you had to trade sideways a little bit just to reset those oscillators. And that was like, you had kind of like bearish divergence on gold, right? You were climbing up here on prices, but you were going down on the RSI. The thing that's keeping this gold rally sustained is that not only are you overbought, but you're actually making higher highs on the RSI. If we can make another higher high above 86 on gold on the daily time frame here, then this gold rally could just continue going more and more and more. And I mean, it frustrates the people who are shorting it. But I would wait to see if you create a lower high on the daily time frame to try to short gold. This could possibly be a lower high, but you just don't know. You just don't know. This could continue going up. You could end up making maybe a double top on the RSI and then come down. But I can't blame you if you want to put a short on gold. You just have to put the stop loss manageable so you're only losing 1% of your account if you're leverage trading it. But yeah, gold is in a frenzy. It's euphoric. And it could probably keep doing this. And if it does come down, it could be a reset where it makes a higher low only for it to go to higher prices again. And you can keep on doing this until you hit $5,000 gold in January. That's my target right now. $5,000 gold by January 21st. I'll even give you a target date. I give you a target, 5,052 by January 21st of 2026. There's your target price, target date, using this uptrend. And that's it. And it seems like, an easy trade for a lot of people to be in, but I'm expecting this to be an overcrowded trade towards the end of this year. And if it drops down, like if gold was to drop down right now, you would expect it to at least come revisit the 21 EMA at 3,879. That's where that white line's at. But if it loses that, then maybe it drops down to the 50-day moving average, which is sitting at 3,490. And if it did that, right, let's just measure that out real quick. If gold just goes down to the 21 EMA, that's about a 7% drop from where it is right now, 8% drop. But if it drops down to that 50 moving average, you're talking about like a 16-17% drop. And I'm not sure gold investors have the stomach for that, especially if they're thinking that gold's going to go to $5,000. If they lose 16% of their money, that could destroy the gold rally, in my opinion here. Because a lot of people now are getting in thinking that they're going to get rich overnight or get, increase their wealth here. If they go into gold and they start seeing that they're down 10% or 15% from where they got in at, that's gonna suck the wind out of the sails for the gold rally here, in my opinion. All right. Well, I'm not really getting requests here from anybody here, and that's fine. That's fine. If you guys don't want to talk about stocks or crypto, I can just end the live stream and we can just talk about this stuff tomorrow. Maybe the markets will be maybe crypto will be down in the dumps, and then you guys can come here and panic with me and actually look at the live stream and have a request here. But if you guys think everything's fine and dandy and you don't really want to talk about crypto, then we can talk. We don't have to talk about crypto. We don't have to talk about stocks or gold. Right now, I just told you, like, it's not looking so good for Bitcoin and crypto. But if Donald Trump threatens China with tariffs, then it's not going to be good for NASDAQ or S&P 500 either. NASDAQ did go up 0.66% today. But this could end, you know, if Trump is serious about 100% tariffs on China, like he said early on Friday. This thing could drop down to that 50-day moving average. That 50-day moving average sitting at 21,113. If that was the play out here on the NASDAQ, let's see. If we were to drop down from there to there, about like a 7% drop, which I guess is normal in the stock market world. Even worse would be down to that 200-day moving average. That's like a 13% drop. Now, anything more than 10% is considered a correction in the stock market. So they would just call this a correction if it actually does that. It wouldn't really be a bear market in the stock market unless it drops down 20%. And if it drops down 20%, I mean, you would see the NASDAQ at 17,000 or 18,000 points. And then that would be considered a bear market in the stock market world. Yep. But so far, it's up and to the right on the stock market. If I was to draw a trend here on the NASDAQ, you know, I think the next target people are talking about, because people love their even numbers, is when will the NASDAQ hit 25,000? And if we continue this trend that we're in right now, looks like, see, I gotta measure this down to here, up to this point right here. Looks like we could hit 25,000 on the NASDAQ around February of 2026, February 11th, right before Valentine's Day. Trade Intuition's making a joke here. He says it's pretty cool that I teach people how to fly, and I also teach people how to trade, just not at the same time. Well, yeah, I mean, if we're flying the airplane, we should have our attention flying the airplane. But for some of my students that I've taught in the past, like when we're getting close to getting them ready to take the tests to actually get their license, and they pretty much know most of the things that they need to know about, there is time in the cockpit when we're just cruising along, and we could talk about other things besides airplanes. And you know, I usually ask them how's their day going and this and that. But if they did ask me about, you know, trading stocks, I could actually tell them about trading stocks and trading crypto while we're cruising along and there's not much to do. But usually do that in cruise. You wouldn't be doing that when you're taking off or landing. You don't just like, all right, clear to take off. Hey, what about Bitcoin? What do you think about that price of Bitcoin right now? Yeah, you don't do that. You got to focus your attention on actually taking off, because you could have an emergency while you're taking off. And then also when you're landing as well. You got that. Usually in airplane world, if you're below 10,000 feet, you got to be strictly all business, talking about just the airplane and flying the airplane. And then once you get above 10,000 feet, usually it's not as congested. There's not that many airplanes flying around at that altitude. And you can actually, you know, and you also have the altitude in case you have an emergency to actually set the airplane up for landing. Once you're above 10,000 feet, that's when you can actually talk about other things that's not related to the flight. Yeah. But yeah, Trade Intuition is asking me, when will I be making flying videos? And you're interested in seeing that? I do have some old flying videos. I haven't been really flying that much because flying airplanes is pretty expensive. It's an expensive hobby. Just to give you an idea, Joe, gassing up the airplane, it's about $6 to $7 a gallon, and the airplane burns 10 gallons an hour. For the small ones, like the 4-seaters. If it's a bigger airplane, it's going to burn more gallons, and you're going to be paying more money, and that's just to fuel the airplane. Never mind actually paying for the insurance and paying for if you have a loan on the airplane, you know. it gets to be very expensive very fast. I actually rent out airplanes, so the rental rate is like $150 an hour for the small plane to like anywhere to like $200 an hour, and if you have an instructor, it's like another $50 or $60 an hour for the instructor. So right now, I think the going rate is you're gonna pay like $200 an hour to $250 an hour just to fly with another instructor pilot. And then if you're flying by yourself, you know, you're just paying for the airplane, but the airplane is going to be about like $150, $200 an hour. Yeah, very expensive hobby to get into. But yeah, next time I go flying, I'll take some footage and I'll post up a TikTok and a YouTube short. Yeah. Nicole's asked me, do I have another invite for the Discord channel? I think I'm gonna go on TikTok and try to put the link for the description on the TikTok. Matter of fact, you know what? Let me do that right now. Let me go into my Discord here. Let's see. Is this? Yep, this is my Discord here. You see, this is where I post up when I'm going live, and you guys can chat with me here on Discord. Well, let's see. I got to get that invite link here, and this is going to be not expiring. So generate new link, and then I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to go into my TikTok here. Thank you, Ben and Nirka, for following me. Thank you, Nicole, for liking that last video there. And let's see. I could try if I could edit the profile here. And should I just put it in the bio? Yeah, I think I'll put it in the bio. So it should just like be right there for you guys, the Discord link. Okay. Hopefully that works for you. Alright. Yeah. Did it actually show up? And then, I don't know, let me see. Let me just refresh this here. I don't know. I don't think the link actually went in, or I don't know if it actually went. Edit profile. Hey. Save it. Maybe it won't let me do links in my bio like that. It might not like that. Yeah, okay. So why won't it show up on my bio here? Anyways, I'll have to put the link in the, you know, I think I can put another link in here, but like I did with YouTube over here. But yeah, if you guys want to message me, you can message me and you'll be able to see my, I'll be able to send you the link to the Discord. The free Discord. Alright. So far it's a free Discord to join, Nicole. Free for now. Until I change things around. But it's free for now. It's a way to, you get access to me in the Discord. And if I see like a crypto or a stock I'm interested in getting in, if I see a nice setup, I'll put it in the Discord and you guys can do a copy trade, you know, and try to copy my trades here. So that's I think that brings a little bit of value to the Discord there. And then of course, you know, you guys just share your funny videos or anything that you think is worth sharing. You can put that in the Discord. But let's see. Last time I did talk about CoAI because I did see it as a good setup, and I talked about it, you know, a couple days ago. I was like, KoAI looks like a nice setup for long right now, and I was talking about that when KoAI was at 593. Just from what I've seen on the charts. And then I was still following it. And of course, yeah, you know, I got into the trade and I got my stop loss at break even, and I was already up like 138% on that trade. Yeah. So we could look for more trades like KoAI on the Discord. But guys, I'm gonna end the live stream because it seems like we're not interested in doing requests here, and I don't want to just to talk because I have other things I need to be doing as well. So I guess that's gonna be it for this live stream. Be on the lookout for my next live stream. We'll try to go live the normal time slot at 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. tomorrow Eastern time, and we'll see what Bitcoin and crypto decides to do next year. But so far, it's looking like they want to drop it on us, but it could be a fake out. I think as far as like Bitcoin goes, if Bitcoin gets up to like 112,700, like I've already identified this 0.236 level. If we get up to that level, then I think it could be an area to place a short and take some profit on your short-term longs here. And then on the 1 hour time frame, yeah, that 50 moving average has been acting as resistance for a while now. So, you know, we got rejected here, rejected here. If we come back up to that 50 moving average, which is at 112,900, we could get rejected again. So be on the lookout for that as well. Going into tomorrow. All right. I wish you guys the best of luck in whatever trades and investments you decide to get into. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow, guys.